Hey, it's Nick. It's January 13th, 2022. I'm still awake from yesterday. Yesterday was a big day. I feel like I'm gonna make some progress as far as being of service in my community in a positive way. And um, I wanted to make this video real quick to address something in an earlier video about I said something about I was going to sell drugs and Keith and them at Hope. Not it wasn't just Keith; it was the whole family. But Keith is like the figurehead for that, and it basically did boil down to me being able to sit with Keith and talk to him and be honest with him and not lie to him, because there's no lying to Keith. As far as I'm concerned, I can't go anywhere anymore and expect to be anything but genuine, because everybody that knows me would pick up on me being different, and that's how I like it, and that's how I want it. So there will be no such thing as me trying to go hang out at Keith's office and talk to him and pretend like I wasn't selling drugs if I was selling drugs. That wouldn't happen. I would be in there talking about it to him. Shocker, right? Nick talking about dumb shit. But yeah, that would be me. I couldn't lie to Keith. I couldn't lie to anybody there. It's just not how I am anymore. So I can't. It wasn't always like that at Hope. I was not being forthright. I wasn't being honest with a lot of people. But there was always that thing where we could determine what our recovery was, and so I had this gray area to dwell in. And usually the gray area is good. It's good to find the gray and avoid the black or the white, as far as all or nothing, all this or all that, and no in between. It's good to locate the gray area, so to speak. But I like AA better because it provides a structured program that is basically cut and dry. Like, you get out of it what you put into it, and if you're fake and lie and if you're not honest, then you're not going to get good results. And that's AA is there for that purpose. And the meetings provide a structured meeting outline, so the meetings run themselves almost. There's not usually a host that has to try to control everything and make sure everybody behaves properly, because the system that AA is based around or works the system that it works through or whatever provides the structure that people have standards that they behave by, they live up to, and that's what they base their behavior on, is those standards. So anyways, back to what I originally decided to make this video for, was to address that drug dealing thing. And just to clarify the issue, is what it was is I've been given authorization to tell people these things by the organization that I guess I represent or whatever. And I can talk about it in certain contexts. They want me to, because then it doesn't matter. You guys won't believe anything if it gets too crazy. So just be careful what you ask, because I might tell you something that you don't believe. And anyways. So what it is I have access, or I do, but I don't think I have access anymore. I know where I could, where there's some that I don't even think about it anymore. Basically, as far as selling drugs, and the organization will not let me, which is odd, because they did let me before, and now they don't let me. Now I have to have good morals, and this is big. They just think this is funny, and this is how they get their kicks. They get to watch me do stuff like this, because this is what it looks like when someone has their will in their life over to the care of a higher power of their understanding. What you're watching right now. So they like it when I say that. And this, they didn't have to do this. I could have just been a decent person on my own. That's the joke, I guess they think is so funny, is I'll never know if this magic I'm experiencing is just from being a decent person, or if it's really that there is a law of cause and effect that actually works if we follow a moral code that entails having a high standard, for how we behave and the logic we use to justify our behavior. Is that really, these rewards I'm experiencing really because it's an actual law of cause and effect? Or is it just from being a decent person? I don't know, but I like it better than the alternative, which was to just kind of like do whatever I want to do and use bogus logic to justify whatever I did. And just blame somebody. There's always someone to blame. Even if it's the victim, I could find a reason to blame. I could way to justify victimizing the victim. And if I stole something from somebody, I could figure out a way to blame them for me stealing from them, like type of gimmick thing. Thank goodness that didn't happen very much, but it did happen. It existed. I did it. It wasn't. I guess, I like to sell drugs the most. That was my favorite thing to do, I guess, as far as being a bad boy was concerned. Once I discovered the joy of selling drugs, I guess. I don't know. By when I was like 15 or something, it was like a family tradition kind of thing. You're in. I was in. It was something by the time I started selling drugs, I wanted to because I wanted to get mine for free. I was kind of tired of smoking weed and paying for it and all that. And, so that was, how that worked out. But, so, for whatever reasons I don't want to get into, I decided I was not going to be a part of the recovery community in Manchester, New Hampshire, or anywhere for that matter. So I'm around like February or something last year. And I decided to sell drugs again. First it was just going to be weed, which is, whatever. And then, that's a philosophical debate that I'm not going to have with anybody. If it's okay to do it, smoke it, or sell it, I'm not talking about it here, especially at Hope for Recovery. I never want to talk about smoking marijuana or ingesting THC products or psychedelics at Hope for Recovery or with anybody I've met there. It's just pretty much a taboo subject to me just because it can be. I've got other stuff to talk about. There's other people that want to talk about whether marijuana is a medicine or if it's good for people. They can have that. I don't want to get concerned with all that, and Hope for Recovery is not the place to talk about marijuana and THC products and psychedelics as far as I'm concerned, because those are drugs. Even if a lot of people can use them responsibly, there's still people out there that have trouble using those drugs or substances responsibly, and we just need to take those people's take those people into consideration in environments like Hope for Recovery. And I'm asking people, no matter what, if you like marijuana, that's great. I like marijuana. I'm not gonna lie about it, but I don't like it at Hope for Recovery. And I wish that people would not try to advocate for people to use marijuana at Hope for Recovery. Don't use that space to voice your opinion regarding that one way or the other. Let's not talk about that. That's how I feel about it. Let's just not talk about that unless you're with your recovery coach and it's just y'all. So anyways, so then I just said, you know what, screw it. I must have gotten suicidal at the time. I know I did later, but maybe this was the beginning. Like, I didn't realize I was on that spiral towards death. I did. I cheated death at least once, during this experience, and I'll talk about that in another video, maybe on a whole other channel, I don't know, but I decided that maybe I should, because I had access to hard drugs, maybe I should sell hard drugs, since I'm, on that type of tip where I just didn't care anymore, it seemed. Let's make money. Whatever, people are going to spend it. I just tried to get buffers between me and the actual users, so that I didn't see anybody suffering too bad, and just hung out with the people making money, I guess, and just tried not to think about children suffering and stuff because their parents were buying hard drugs. Like, try not to think about it. Just drink, smoke weed, whatever, maybe snort some lines. I was, just snorting seemed good. But anyways, we're not going to talk about that. I'm not talking about that shit. But the the best quotation air quotes the best idea I had was with my friend from Florida for him to come here, and he wanted to go somewhere different, and it was summer, and he didn't want to be in Florida during the summer, so and I knew this about him. He knew he could go up north along the East Coast in various cities and just go somewhere and just get a job somewhere in the middle of somewhere and just blend in and just become an ultra middleman and just find connects and users and just stay on the go. And that was his life, and that's what made him happy, and he liked to pack pistols and all that. And I knew this guy, and that's what he did in Florida. That's what he did all up the East Coast, and I knew it. He was convincing. His stories panned out. Everything made sense. I seen him do it with my own eyes. So in Florida, So that was a plan. He was going to come up here and just situate, and I wasn't going to point him in any direction, so to say. Maybe one direction. One person was trying to get me, like, in particular. There was a person in the neighborhood that was practically begging me to have them sell crack for me out of their apartment, and that everybody smoked crack in their apartment. They wanted to be the hookup for the crack, and they wanted to do it, but the problem was I wasn't going to be seen going in there to give them the crack to sell. That had to be my friend from Florida. That might have been the one place I sent my friend from Florida, was that person that was asking to sell crack for me out of their apartment. But no. Other than that, yeah, I wasn't going to point my friend anywhere. I was letting him do his thing, and I was going to do my thing and just hide out and work in the background. I couldn't see myself going to Hope for Recovery even if I was that much involved in the game. To that extent, I don't think I could have went and faced Keith knowing the truth that, I was involved with that. But it didn't pan out. And it was crazy because I was, like, kind of hanging out at this woman's house, like, kind of living there, so to say. I had a lot of my shit there. She was, like, telling me to live there. And she was saying, like, about my friend. She was like, yeah, have them come in, and yeah, you guys can set up shop at my house, and it'll be great. And I remember, like, man, my friend's like 6'4" easy, and her ceiling was like 6 feet or something. I was like, I don't know. And you could hear her neighbors if they turned the TV up loud. And I was like, man, this would be scary as fuck to sell drugs out of. Like, I was scared to be there just hanging out. Like, I was weaponed up myself with my, weapons that felons are allowed to carry around with them. I had them every time I was in that house, watching both doors, like back door and the front door. Like, anyways, but no, I didn't get to stay there. That didn't work out. He didn't come. I guess he got high on crack and decided not to come up, and I ended up doing all the drugs because I had like 3 people, man, like potentials I might have been able to sell to, but then it would have been face to face with the 3, and they were from up here. I didn't know them for a long time, like I did this one guy, and it was like when it came down to either go ahead and just try to sell these drugs to these people you barely know, you've only known whatever, and or don't do it. Get to go talk to Keith once every couple weeks when he, could stand to be around me, whatever. Listen to whatever I thought was important at the time. He suffered. I know I made him suffer a lot, but so yeah, it was a no-brainer to just go ahead and just not sell the drugs. Once it got to that point, thank goodness my friend didn't come up, because everything would be different if I had a friend packing heat up here and we were making thousands of dollars a week profit. I would be. Yeah, I hate to think of it. Honestly, I really do. I'd rather just make a couple $100 a week, honest money, and just be a regular person, and so I got lucky. So, anyways, that's the thing about that. I don't know how. I don't think I explained it clearly enough in the video earlier about how. Keith did, though. Without Keith and Hope for Recovery, I probably would have ended up trying to sell the drugs, because I didn't have anywhere else to go where I needed to be respected. You know what I mean? Like, Hope was the only place, and I complained about that being the place where, like, man, they'll just let anyone come in there. Like, but you know what? That's what saved me, and it saved the whole community, in essence. Because, like I said, I don't know how much drugs I would have sold. I would have sold a bunch of coke, heroin, or whatever, fentanyl, and meth. And I would have, whatever, man. I would have added to a problem that's already here, definitely. Regardless, I don't want to play it out like, man, I would have been Heisenberg or whatever. But I never had a problem selling drugs before. I always seem to, some way, find a way into a market and outdo all my competitors just by being generous and nice and not trying to make as much as I could off everybody and just, throwing people freebies here and there if they were down in their luck and just stuff like that just made me likable. People just wanted to buy their shit from me. You know what I mean? I made my money no matter what. I could be generous, and that's how I looked at it. And it was easy to steal people's customers, just being me. So I'm not out of line by saying I probably could have been successful as far as in the world of drug dealing. I would have been considered a success in here until I got busted and went to prison. Then I would have been doing that gimmick in there. So I got saved for that. Keith and them at Hope, fucking rah rah rah. They're so great. All right, thank you guys. See ya.